Hello and welcome to another Play Then Say, 2 in 1 day, aren't you lucky, lucky people? The reason why you're getting 2 today is because I'm not around for 3 days until Saturday. So I just wanted to bring you the midweek content now, and as I stumbled across this game, a little bit of a background. So I own a Gear VR and I played a space game in it. I'm wondering whether it is actually this one, should have researched that before. And I couldn't stand it because of motion sickness. So the game just didn't work because with a VR headset on, spinning around wasn't good for me. Just wasn't good for me in the way that this game would spin around. So when I saw this developed for Oculus, I thought, well, we'll give it a go. It's not from a AAA studio as such. It's not from an independent though. It's a medium size. I don't know whether there is a word for such studios, but this is it. So it's a game about being on a space station. You start off with a nice little tutorial that teaches you all the moves and gives you no story, and then the place essentially blows up, and then it's up to you to fly around and keep your oxygen topped up, as you can see in the bottom right, and follow waypoint markers to repair this lovely ship. And graphically, I think it looks very, very nice. It's not too cluttered, it's not too basic. It looks like what I would think a spaceship would probably look like. I mean, I don't know about the glowing panels and things like that, it gives it a futuristic look, but after complaining in the last game about lack and boredom with design, I really do think they've done very well with this interiors of the ships. If we head out of the ship, pick up a bit of motion so it's actually possible to control. So as I'm moving, you can, with the left analog, or with WAS, you've got your left-right movement. With the right analog, you've got your look. And then the rest is done with the bumpers and the triggers. So you can go up, vertically down, and you can pitch, rotate, and you can also level yourself with the triggers. Set yourself back to what they consider to be up. So as for controls, it deals very well. It's almost like driving a canal boat. You sort of just float around, so your controls aren't instantaneous. It's sort of what I'd expect from this sort of gravity. Not an expert, as I don't think I've ever said this, but I've never been an astronaut. But if I was in space, this is how I'd imagine it would control. So, and as you can see in the bottom right, where our fuel is, if I push forward, let's pick up speed, you can see using fuel up quicker. So there is quite a nice balance to be had in this game as well about the speed you're doing it and the amount of oxygen that you've got, which may be artificial gating, you know, just sort of making you spend more time between the ships. But it's a game dynamic that I've quite enjoyed. I don't know whether I could play this game just full on playing this game. I didn't mean to write a review on this game. I actually just picked up for a personal interest, and I've been watching it while watching the Legends of Tomorrow, the new DC thing, and I put 4 or 5 hours into this so far today, and it's thoroughly enjoyed it. So the storyline, you're not really given much to start with, and the rest of it is done through personal logs or through personal emails. It's that system. Nothing new or innovative about that system, but this is doing it well. It's fitting in enough of the story that I'm getting an idea of the characters on board. It's throwing in some nice twists, so my perception of certain characters is changing during the time as well. And also it's fitting in it's not filling in every unnecessary blank, it's letting my mind do that rest. And the reason why that is such a hard thing to do but works so well is I can almost meld the characters to be something of interest to me. So where there's black spots and things like that, like one of the crew members is an alcoholic, but it doesn't really go into the motivations of why he's an alcoholic. Due to other ways he's acted, I've decided that he had an abusive teddy bear essentially when he was younger. He would touch him when he was about 21 and he didn't like it, so that's why he became an alcoholic. So so as well as oxygen canisters, you've got these, which are oxygen that's on the wall, which give you a full boost. You don't start off with this much oxygen either. Your suit starts off a lot more damaged than it is now, and you slowly get better at the amount of oxygen you can hold and the freedom of movement. But the game arcs quite nicely with this as well, with some of the areas that you're having to go in actually being electrified. think we've got an electric wire here. Yeah, so you can see, so that's just a standing electric wire. There's not really too much of an issue with that. But on the other ones you have like spinning things, so you have to navigate around them and through them, going against the floating of space while doing that. And I've been enjoying that as a game arc. It's been progressing nicely. One or two moments of mild frustration, shall we say, as I blame the game for my mistakes as I jump into another electric field, but there's not so many that the game is stewed with them. There's just enough around to give you a bit of a challenge, and if you're topped up enough in oxygen you can sort of take that. As you can see, if I knock into something, oops, yeah, the oxygen does take a bit of a hit when you're doing it fast enough. The suit does seem to get damaged somewhat, and I can't quite see the effect that this has on the actual game. Maybe I am getting moving sluggish or not being as responsive, but I haven't quite noticed that, because one of the other things you do upgrade is your thrusters, so your ability to make fine little movements in the change. So the downside of the game, I've enjoyed the story, I've enjoyed the graphics, the controls are handled well, it's beautiful, isn't it? Is the radar. So you can see that in the left. I don't understand it too well. I mean, I understand how a radar works, but because this is three-dimensional, a flat radar like that is really quite confusing. Especially as it doesn't have up arrows or down arrows or pictures or anything like that. You just sort of, it's just sort of there, and you can sort of follow it and make it out. I mean, you have got, if you press right bumper, you've got this thing called an EVA area scanner, and I'll just cut in some footage now of me using that.
Totally winning victory here.
So as you can see, that shows you the areas and objects around you that are also near you. But when you're out here in this open, it's not really any use. I mean, the objective looks like it's somewhere over there. But there's been too many times when I've chased arrows, got to where it was, and turned out that actually I wasn't probably reading the 3D map very well. So this is Adrift, a game brought to you by Studio 505. Look it up on Steam, it's just been released today, and it comes recommended by me. If you like what you've seen, give it a go. It's worth the price tag, I would say. I can't comment on what it's like with an Oculus because, as I said, the one time I tried a space game with a VR, pretty sure it wasn't this one, because I remember the twists being a lot worse and there just being a lot of extra debris that was sort of confusing the eye. But before I die here in outer space, I'm going to tell you to enjoy the world.
So you're saying I can ask this cat any question?
The cat is connected to the computer. You just type in the question, it will read his mind. There the answer comes.
You're the man! I've been looking for this for weeks.